Welcome to the question and answer session for the call to artists for public art for City Hall Plaza. As a reminder, we are recording this session. We have interpretation available in Spanish, Mandarin, Cantonese, and closed captioning. You can access interpretation by clicking the globe icon in your meeting controls toolbar and then selecting the language you'd like to hear. To access the captioning, you can click the CC icon in the toolbar. We're going to pause for a minute so that the interpreters can invite people to join them on their channels. Let's start with Spanish, then Mandarin, and then Cantonese.
Buenas tardes a todos y bienvenidos a este llamado a los artistas para el arte público en la plaza del ayuntamiento. Para accesar la interpretación al español, les pedimos que vayan a la parte inferior de su pantalla, donde van a ver en unos momentos un globito, lo van a oprimir y van a accesar el español. Si no ven ese globito, puede ser que van a ver primero 3 puntitos y van a oprimir esos 3 puntitos y de ahí van a seleccionar el idioma y después de que escojan español van a decir OK. Muchas gracias y bienvenidos.
嗨，大家好。嗨，大家好。我们今天呢将会开始我们将开始艺术家的召唤市政厅广场公共艺术问答环节。如果您需要普通话口译服务的话，您可以在屏幕下方的长方形控制栏中点击 Interpretation 这个地球仪，然后呢点击您所需聆听的这个语言就是普通话，您就可以听到普通话的会议口译了。谢谢。
Is the Cantonese turn?
Yes.
歡迎大家嚟參加呢個網上會議，呢個係召喚藝術家嘅項目。咁咧，而家我哋有呢個翻譯嘅，咁你要揀聽咩嘢翻譯嘅語言咧？咁你哋喺呢個銀幕最下邊，你有冇見到個地球？咁你點到個地球之後咧，就可以揀你要聽嘅語言啦。就屏幕下方有個長方形嗰個控制欄裏邊，你唔該你點一下個 interpretation 呢個字啦，咁咧再揀你要聽咩語言，你就會聽到呢個會嘅口譯啦。多謝。
Okay. Thank you. We'll just give everyone a second to move to their channel and then we'll move to the next slide.
And please, everybody in the English channel, you have to select English in order to hear the interpreters when we are interpreting for somebody in their own language. Thank you.
And now we'll just take a moment to introduce ourselves. My name is Karen Goodfellow. I'm the Director of Public Art in the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture. I use the She series, and I'm here with my colleagues, Christina McGeehan and Sarah Rodrigo. We are also happy to have Mauricio Gomez from Sasaki Associates here with us to help answer questions about the site. Our plan for today is to review the call and the submittable application form, then answer any questions you may have. We'll do our best to answer your questions today, but we may also note them and respond in an FAQ that will be posted by Tuesday, February 22nd. We'll also be sharing links in the chat as we go. Please feel free to post questions in the question and answer form as we go along, and we'll get to them at the end. We want to start by providing some context for today's presentation and conversation. The City of Boston has done a lot of work related to public art in the last decade, including updating our public art policies and procedures, redefining our understanding of what public art is and could be, and examining the gaps in the city's public art landscape. In the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture, we have commissioned artists to create many new public art projects in the last several years, and there are more projects in the pipeline. The photos on this page are all commissioned by the City of Boston, clockwise from the top left, together by Ms. Akar at the Engagement Center in Newmarket, installed in the fall of 2021, within web by Matthew Hintzman at the JP branch of the Boston Public Library and Curtis Hall BCYF campus in Jamaica Plain, installed in the summer of 2021. ROXBURY by Joe Wardwell with Nakia Hill and the 826 YLab writers at the Roxbury branch of the Boston Public Library in Nubian Square. Installation completed in January 2022. Love Thyself by Marker 27 in Grove Hall in Dorchester, installed in 2018. Crisscross Signal Spire by Meejin Yoon in Nubian Square in Roxbury, installed in 2014, on which we also partnered with Sasaki. And You're Loved by Alex Cook at the Engagement Center in Newmarket, installed in the fall of 2021. The call to artists we have out right now is for 2 short-term public art projects for City Hall Plaza, which is currently under construction. The renovated plaza will be open to the public this summer. The first project is for a 3D short-term artwork outside of the north entrance to City Hall, which is a really good opportunity for folks who do sculpture, design pieces in the round, and can lead the fabrication and installation of a project. The second is a commission for graphics for a new gallery wall on the west exterior of the building. This is a great opportunity for people who do 2D work. No experience with fabrication is needed. We just need files from you. We'll go through and describe the opportunities more, and you can apply to both, but there may be one that's a better fit for you. So think about that as we go through and let us know if you have any questions. Sarah will now walk through the call page by page, share some information about the application process, and then we'll take questions. If you want to follow along in the PDF itself, you can view it and download it at the link that Sarah just provided in the chat.
Thank you, Karen. On this page, you can see the table of contents and basics for the call. We've already looked at the title page a couple of slides ago. The first content page contains the basic information about the call to artists and for the project itself, like the budget, eligibility, and the location. An outline of the call to artists schedule is here for your reference, including the date and time of this session and this evening's session. The day we'll be posting answers to questions, which is next Tuesday, and the day the call closes, which is Friday, February 25th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. While we will accept applications right up to that deadline, I strongly encourage any artists who are applying to complete their submission before the deadline, as Submittable can get overwhelmed by a large number of submissions at the same time, and we cannot accept any once the call closes. This call is open to all artists, and we have no geographic limitations for it. But there is a preference for artists who have a connection to the theme of the project, which we'll get to in a moment. Page 3 on the left contains information about the area, which is Government Center. We include this information because our commissions are site-specific. And while we don't expect anyone to be experts in the site at this point, it's helpful if artists have given some thought to the site context and the people who are involved with the project. Page 4 on the right is the theme of the project. This commission, envisioned as the first of a series of artworks for this site, looks to recognize and celebrate the stories of Boston and City Hall Plaza. BIPOC and ALANA, Black, Indigenous, People of Color / African, Latinx, Asian, Arab, Native American communities, women, local activists, LGBTQIA+ individuals, and many others are missing from the artistic and commemorative landscape in our public spaces and have been missing for centuries. As part of the city's ongoing efforts to commission artworks that reflect the communities of Boston, this project site offers a uniquely visible opportunity to tell those and other stories that may act as a guide to our shared futures, an embrace of our community today, and an affirmation of the varied histories and experiences living with and through us. The artwork should provide context and meaning for residents and visitors, recognizing that the land is the traditional homeland of the Massachusetts tribe and the neighboring Wampanoag and Nipmuc tribes. Among other goals, the Plaza Renovation, Among other goals, the Plaza Renovation seeks to renew the cultural and architectural legacy of the plaza and create a welcoming civic and front yard for City Hall. The renovation will include interpretive wayfinding, including nearby landmarks and open spaces. The renovation work is taking place in 2 phases. The first phase is underway and is expected to be completed in the early summer of 2022. As Karen mentioned, Mo Gomez from Sasaki is here with us today. Mo, would you like to talk a bit about the renovation project?
Just trying to unmute here. Yeah, as mentioned, we're well underway. The project is about 75% complete in the plaza. Now just the finishing touches are being added. Completion of the areas in and around the 2 locations for artwork is getting close. And yeah, as mentioned, the intention is to have openings, I believe a soft opening in the summer, and then the city has other plans for openings and programming later this year. So if I guess we can, I don't know if now's the time or later, to any specifics about the locations we could talk about in more detail as questions arise. Or
Yeah, I think we can go to the next slide where we get into the technical. And we can talk about that. We added that more detailed drawing as well.
Mhm.
So these 2 pages provide the technical parameters for the short-term artwork. The first opportunity, which is for 3D artwork. Several renderings and plans of the site are shared on page 7 of the call, which you see on the left, and details of the power available at the site and materials, material constraints, I should say, are on page 8. Please note that the drawings are for reference only. All dimensions and locations should be confirmed by the selected artist. And on this slide, the call document is a little hard to read in this format. So these are the drawings in more detail. And Mo, I don't know if you want to jump in and add a little bit of context.
Sure. In this location specifically for the short-term artwork, we have installed currently on site a sculpture pad that's about 15 by 15. It's already in place, along with all the conduit out to lighting. The project does own lighting, but that is adjustable and can be modified depending on the piece of work. The pad is also located approximately 15 inches below, 15 to 18 inches below grade, to allow for installation of pieces within the fabric of the larger planting and understory planting context there. So the pad won't be legible at the surface. It'll be red underneath lower understory planting as well. And then as noted, there are some parameters for loading constraints on the pad, which include the weight, potentially entire weight of the piece, and also how its mounting would be required to be done. So essentially there's attachments allowable all the way through the entire pad. A completely asymmetric or off-center type of loading may be a concern for structure of that pad, but generally there's other than that, there is parameters here for criteria. So I think forget the specifics here. It's located generally if you follow the parameters noted here to be located within 5 feet of the center of the pad, and then and the center of gravity was assumed to be about 8 feet above. But there are ways that we are still working with the structural designers of this. If there were some additional questions needed about structural capacity, we could review that with them as well too. But that starts to get into some of the specifics there.
Yeah, and I think as we get questions, we may be able to provide more detail. But it also depends on what the artist is designing, of course.
Yeah.
Let's
And
move.
sorry,
Yeah.
one other note, there is, in addition to lighting, there is a power. I believe you noted that there is power available to the site. It's located on the north side of one of those block benches up there as well too. So that's accessible if needed.
Great. So I'm going to move on to the graphics display. That's on page 9, the technical parameters for the 2D artwork. Again, dimensions will be verified by the selected artist. For this opportunity, the artist will not be responsible for the fabrication or installation of the work. They'll only be responsible for providing a digital file. And again, the drawing's a little bit hard to read in this format, and there's also a bit of additional information. You can see on this slide that the feature wall does include a text element. It says all are welcome, translated into 20 languages and Braille. And here we see a closer view of the technical details for the graphics, the feature wall graphics, including the dimensions. Mo, I don't know if there's anything you want to point out with this feature?
Yeah, no, that hits a lot of it. The materials are this whole entire feature wall piece is a oil rubbed bronze, so it's a darker, almost blackened type of steel look, and then and the translation panel, as mentioned, will be engraved and permanently in those panels, adjacent to the Boston City Hall logo. So, and then the other pieces though are, as noted, the panels, the large, medium, and small, slightly flexible material, and the installation of that can be coordinated as well too once in further discussions with the artist.
Thank you. All right, to get back into the call document, we have the artist commissioning process and the project schedule. On page 10 on the left, we outline the commissioning process. We're in step 2. The call is open and we're answering questions. Once the call closes, step 3 begins, when we convene an artist review working group to review artist submissions and select finalists. Those finalists may be asked to interview virtually, and then the working group will recommend an artist to the Boston Art Commission, also known as the BAC. The BAC will review and vote on that recommendation, and if approved, will contract with that artist for the project. Or projects, I should say. Page 11 on the right details the overall schedule for these commissions. There is a fast timeline, as Mo pointed out. You're looking to open the plaza this summer. So our goal is to have these artworks in place for the opening. The next 2 pages in the call detail what materials you'll need to apply to this commission. These details are also included in the submittable application that we'll review in a moment. But we hope you can use this list to gather your materials before you begin your submittable application. As is typical for our calls to artists, we ask for an artist description, which can be a resume, biography, or other summary of your professional experience, 10 images of completed projects, an annotated image list providing information about those completed project samples, and a statement of interest and initial project concept. We do not ask for any design work or visual proposals at this stage, but we want artists to provide a written description of their approach or concept for the commission, given the information provided in this call. For the short-term 3D artwork, we'll also need an itemized budget. We provide a sample budget that you can use in the appendices. Graphics display applicants do not need to submit a budget, but they do need to submit all the other materials. On page 14, we list the criteria that the Artist Review Working Group and the BAC use when reviewing applications. The core criteria is the curatorial vision for the City of Boston, and I'll read that to you. The curatorial vision for the City of Boston is to foster the creation and collection of artworks that reflect the people, ideas, histories, and futures of Boston, the traditional homeland of the Massachusetts people, and the home of the neighboring Wampanoag and Nipmuc peoples. We aim to commission and approve artworks that engage communities and directly respond to enrich and enliven the urban environment. We seek public art that is driven by an artistically strong vision, enhances the diversity and equity of the existing collection, and possesses durability appropriate to the lifespan of the work. We're also looking for artists with a strong artistic vision, and will give preference to artists who show a connection to the theme or the area, whether through their artwork or through their experience. The following page, which you see on the right, provides more information about the Boston Art Commission and the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture, and offer links to our websites and other project-related websites, including Sasaki's site. The last page of the call includes my contact information and information about when and where we'll post answers to any questions we receive, either today, tonight, through email, or through the web form. And finally, there's an appendix section, which includes a budget template, a sample of our commissioning agreement, and the standard insurance requirements. Artists applying to this project have to use the Submittable platform online. This is the top landing screen that you'll see on Submittable. I'm going to navigate to Submittable and then into the application itself, so we can quickly walk through that together. We'll also share the link in the chat so that you can open it on our own if you'd like to. I'd also like to note that you can request a translated application by emailing us. All right, this is the City of Boston Submittable landing page. And here is the call to artists for City Hall Plaza Public Art. My slightly slow internet connection. Thank you all for being patient. So as we scroll down, you see we have when the call was released, a link through to the PDF of the entire call, which you can download. The first project, budget and deadline, $50,000 and February 25th at 5 p.m. That's for the short-term 3D public art at the north entrance. And then the second, the City Hall Plaza graphics with a budget of $5,000 and the same deadline, February 25th at 5 p.m. We have more information here about the session that we're in right now and the one we'll be hosting tonight, and a link to a question form that you can also fill out and submit to us. The deadline for content-specific questions is this Friday, February 18th at 5 p.m. You can always ask us questions about the submittable application up to the deadline. But again, please submit your application well before the deadline so that we have time to help you if you do have technical issues. We have eligibility, a little bit about the Art Commission, and then we get into the application itself, which asks for your name, your website, ways that we can contact you, your preferred pronouns, social media, if you'd like to share that with us, questions about how you heard about this commission, some demographic information, which is optional, but we asked for this so that we know who we're reaching and that we can continue to understand how artists are finding us, through what channels, what audiences we're reaching. So there's a bunch of questions there. And then you get down to which opportunity are you applying to? Artists can submit to both, but you have to submit 2 separate applications. So you'll see the same information, but you can only select one at a time. And then you'll see all the boxes for the items we discussed, the statement of interest, which is a text box, the description, which is a file upload. You can upload up to 5 files. Your work samples, that is photographs of completed artworks, the annotated image list, diversity and inclusion plan, which is a text box as well. And for the other application, the short-term public art, you'll also see an itemized budget section. So that is the call. And now I think we can move into questions, and I've probably talked enough.
Thank you, Sarah. If anyone has questions, please feel free to drop them into the question and answer chat. Okay, if we don't hear from anyone in 2 minutes, we'll close up. We are having another Q&A this evening. If you think of a question later and want to ask it, you can always pop in there as well.
Karen and Sarah, one just came in through the Q&A, and then there's another one in the chat.
Great. I see actually 2 in the Q&A. Is the sculpture sited in a way where it'll be visible from 360 degrees or more like a 3/4 view? And I would answer that, but I would love to hear from Mo actually, who has a much more nuanced understanding of the site.
Yeah, so now the sculpture won't be visible from 360 degrees. It's located from, if you're walking out the north entry, which is a new entrance to City Hall that's been essentially unearthed since almost 20 years ago. It had been barricaded off. So with this new entry, you'll be able to see the sculpture coming out of the north entry on the left-hand side. It's also visible along what we're calling Hanover Walk, which is the main walkway through the entire site. Yeah, which is that area right there. That's an accessible walkway, actually, and the entrance to the north entry is accessible as well. But along the Hanover walkway, it would be visible from the south side and the north side. So really your only restriction is from the upper area there, the what is the 4th floor terrace of City Hall. It's visible from above at that location, but not visible from behind, because we are elevated up about 30 feet there. So it's a pretty prominent location. Its visibility from the street, because it is tucked away up Hanover Walk, will be limited, but potentially visible from the street depending on how you're walking along Congress Street. As Hanover Walk does come up and bends around almost at the location where the sculpture would be located. The plan view might be, there was another plan in there too,
Yeah.
which might be helpful to understand its location. It's a little small, but if you put your cursor right, down at
Yeah.
the right there, you can see that from Hanover Street, or from, I'm sorry, Congress Street, you'd be able to see glimpses of it coming up there, as well as coming from the west. If you're coming down Hanover Walk, walking west to east down that walkway as well too. Yep.
Great. Thank you.
Mhm.
And I saw there was also a question about the diversity and inclusion plan. And that is for the design, fabrication, and installation. We want to know about the artist, about any subcontractors they have or have worked with in the past. So there's a bit more explanation on the submittable application about what we're looking for. And I can go to that. I think we still have it open. So you can see here, it says the City of Boston is committed to ensuring that vendors who work on the city's behalf utilize procurement practices that are fully open to the inclusion of small and local businesses, including small local business enterprises, minority business enterprises, women business enterprises, and veteran-owned small business enterprises. Please describe the efforts that you have taken or will take to ensure that your selection of subcontractors and suppliers for this contract will be meaningfully open to such companies. If you will not utilize subcontractors or suppliers on this particular contract, please describe any efforts or practices of your company over the past 2 years that demonstrate those practices. And we're looking for specifics. So it's a narrative in which you talk about your either intention for this project and or your past practices with regards to diversity and inclusion. And did you say, Christina, there's a question in the chat? Oh, yes, and you answered it.
I didn't, there was another one. It says the 2D project is digital and will be printed. They wanted to confirm that.
Yeah, I wonder, Mo, can you talk about the materials that they'll be printing?
That is correct. It's yeah, the project does own the printing and fabrication and installation, so it is just looking for the digital art piece. It's printed on a I should know better. Sorry, it's almost like a scrim material. So unlike the metal, this entire feature wall piece is bronze. The panels going in though will be more of like a scrim or flexible, almost fabric-like material that will be printed on. the intention is that these will also be rotated out in the future. So the city will be coordinating or curating potentially modifications later in the future there too. So they're they have attachment mechanisms at the top and the bottom that then essentially rods that go through, and this scrim gets attached around, it wraps around the top and around the bottom. And we can supply those details if needed in the future for.
Yeah, and I think we've mentioned in the call, both of these are short-term projects. So the idea is that this would rotate just as you said, Mo, just as the 3D project we're envisioning as the first of many. These two will be the first round of a design for this site, but there will be others in the future.
Mm-hmm.
All right, keep the questions coming.
One thing to note about the feature wall, and perhaps there is lighting behind it. A lot of the panels have lights that are tucked away behind the elements too. So there's a slight backlit to that feature wall element. I should have noted that before as well. Just for context on that element.
Great, thank you. I think we can give another minute or two just in case anyone thinks of anything.
Okay. I think we can wrap up now. Again, we are gathering again this evening. If you want to come in, if you think of anything else, please feel free to join us. The content will be pretty identical, but you are more than welcome to join and ask us more questions. Thank you for being here, and thank you for asking those questions. And thank you, Mo, for joining us today as well, and all the interpreters.
Thank you, everyone.